Welcome back. This year's Jewish holiday, Yom Kippur, is celebrated tomorrow, and Thursday. And this year, police are working with the United Jewish Appeal Federation, the UJA, to help keep the celebration safe. With more, we're joined live by Noah Shack, the GTA Vice President for the Center for Israel and Jewish Affairs. Welcome to the show. Noah, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks so much for having me.
This is a time when the community is, of course, much more visible, much more present. Give us a sense of how the community is feeling and maybe talk to us about your fears.
Well, UJA Federation supports more than 130 community institutions across the GTA in close partnership with police. And this is a really important initiative coming up for Yom Kippur to help ensure that as anti-Semitic incidents occur, they're able to be reported quickly, effectively, and efficiently. This partnership between Jewish community organizations and the police really does reinforce the sense of collective responsibility that we have to keep people safe, to make sure that people can worship without fear, and sends a really positive message to the community about that partnership and what we can expect in the days to come.
Absolutely. Now, a reporting center just like this one was set up over Rosh Hashanah. What did you find there?
Well, I think just by having these reporting centers' presence gives a boost to a community at a time when anti-Semitism has been on the rise in our city. The Jewish community remains the most frequent target of hate crimes in the city of Toronto. So just having these centers present is a really important initiative for people to feel more comfortable at a time when we're more present, we're more visible, and we're more vulnerable.
Absolutely. And you just talked about this. I want to pick up on that. Anti-Semitism is on the rise. We're seeing some troubling hate crimes across our country. Tell us what you're finding in terms of the troubling trends.
Well, just over the last weekend, we saw at least 5 anti-Semitic hate incidents that were reported to police. Those are just the ones that I know about, ranging from graffitied conspiracy theories about Jewish people to harassment and intimidation, and unfortunately also assault and the defacement of a school here in the GTA with swastikas. This is, and that's just over the last weekend. We've seen an alarming spike in anti-Semitic incidents going back the last number of months, whether related to COVID-19 pandemic conspiracy theories or spinning off from conflict in the Middle East. And it's important that our community is working closely with police to try to address these incidents and that we as a society take a stand against them, not just for the Jewish community, but of course for all residents of the city of Toronto. Anti-Semitism is corrosive to the very fabric of our society, and we can't allow hate towards anyone to fester here. It's such a welcoming and diverse and vibrant city, and we want to make sure that it stays that way.
Now, in just 6 days, Canadians have a big choice to make. They will head to the polls. And, these party leaders, they've been making some big promises, but have they been talking about the issue of anti-Semitism enough?
I think that, going into the election, there was a big summit nationally on anti-Semitism, and we had a debate in the Jewish community last night with representation from the 3 largest political parties. And I think everybody understands that this is a worrying trend that we're seeing here in Canada, and that we have lessons from the not too distant past about what anti-Semitism can lead to if it's left unchecked. And I think it's incumbent on all the political parties to take anti-Semitism seriously, and if they're elected to government, to take concrete actions to stand against it. And if they're elected to opposition, to make sure the government is held to account, to push back against the rising tide of anti-Semitism that we're experiencing across this country and indeed around the world.
Okay, Noah Shack, we'll have to leave it there. The GTA Vice President for the Center for Israel and Jewish Affairs. Thank you so much for this conversation. We certainly appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.